Hey guys, welcome to my video about our algebra class policies. So I'm just going to kind of walk us through. I'm not going to read this word for word, but just kind of walk you through the important aspects of these different policies and some rules here so that you can really understand what we're doing. So first of all, let's talk about homework. Many times I think you get very used to homework being graded the next day after it's assigned, and I don't do that. I will still assign homework. We will have a chance the next day to go over homework and ask questions. I will post answer keys so that you can be checking your answers outside of class, all of that same deal. And I will be grading homework based on completion, not for accuracy. But the way I do that, the way I grade completion, is not by checking each assignment. So what's going to happen is when we finish a unit, we'll have a unit test. After the unit test, I will collect one homework assignment from that unit. Sorry about that. I will collect one homework assignment from that unit. So if there's 10 assignments during a unit, on the day that I'm collecting it, I will put on the board the name of one of those 10 assignments, and you will then turn that assignment in. The catch, obviously, is that you do not know what assignment out of the 10 I would be checking for your class on that day. So the only way to guarantee that you have will get full credit, make sure you have the assignment that I'm collecting, is to do all of them. There is a chance that if you only do 3 or 4, that I choose an assignment that you had finished, but there's also a much larger chance that I will choose one you didn't do and you will get no credit for it. All right, one loophole in that is if you get an A on the unit test, I will give you a 100% for your homework grade regardless of completion. The goal is that you understand the content. So if you can prove to me on a test that you have an excellent understanding of the content, that's the most important thing, and I will give you kind of the bonus that I will give you 100% for homework. All right, so let's say we have a homework check. You turn in an assignment, and you have everything done. Every problem's attempted, there's legitimate work, you'll get full credit, you'll get 100%. But let's say you didn't do all of the problems. You did less than all of them, but you did more than half. Well, you'll get partial credit. You'll get a 1, maybe 1.5 out of 2. If you did less than half of the assignments, there is a chance that at any point you could get 0 points for that. Now, I do offer the ability to improve your grade on homework. If you do not have 100% on a homework check, you can always turn in every single homework assignment for the unit, all fully completed, and I will bump your grade up to a 100% after the fact, after I've already graded the individual worksheet. So if you turn in a worksheet and you get a 1.5 out of 2, but you want to get full credit, you want to get 100%, well, take that one worksheet, finish it, make sure you have all the other 9 worksheets in that homework check, and turn in all 10 homework assignments to be fully completed, and I will change that grade up to a full 100%. So really there's 3 different ways that you can earn a 100% for a homework check, for the homework for a unit. You can have the assignment fully done when I check it, you can get an A on the test, or after I have graded it, you can make sure all of the assignments in the unit, all the homework assignments are fully complete, and turn all of them in for 100%. For that option, for the late turn-in, I only accept every worksheet for 100%. I won't give you a grade for anything else. All right, so I'm trying to offer you as easy of a road as possible to make sure that you get full credit for your homework if you're just willing to put in the work and do the problems. If you, again, as I said in class, if you have any questions about any of the stuff that I'm talking about here, please make sure you come in and ask, either me individually or just ask during class, and I'll be happy to go into more detail or explain something a different way. Unit quizzes and tests, pretty straightforward. Quizzes are over a smaller amount of material. Tests are over an entire unit or a larger part of a unit. Tests will count more towards your grade than quizzes because they're covering more material. I expect all students to be able to remain silent until all the tests or quizzes have been turned in. So please bring something to keep yourself busy, whether it's working on your Chromebook, stuff for another class, you want to start work, you want to get worksheets done for the homework check, whatever it is, please make sure you bring something to do so that we can be respectful of each other when we're working on those tests. All right, let's talk about absences. Most likely, everyone is going to be absent at least once throughout the year. It'd be great if you didn't, but life happens. You know, we get it. If you are absent, you are responsible for your materials that you missed. Now, I will have a folder in a bin with your period and with your name on it. Whenever you're absent, I always put all the things I hand out or give back to you in that folder. So you always want to be checking that folder. It's in the front of the classroom on a table, and you always want to be checking that folder when you return from class. All right, it's also really important that if you miss content, if we did notes on a day, it's really, really important that you catch up on the content you missed. I've had many people end up doing very poorly on tests and quizzes because they learned the stuff that when they were present in class, but they never bothered to make up the material understanding wise of what they missed, and it caught up with them on a test or a quiz. Now, if you actually are absent for a test or a quiz, notice in big bold letters, not in the test center. I do not put stuff in the test center. All right, talk to me. I will schedule a date for you to do a retake of that test or that quiz, and then I'll write you a pass, and then you'll come to wherever I am. If I happen to be teaching a class, we'll put a desk in the hallway, and you can take that test out in the hallway. There's a number of reasons why I don't use the test center. I can explain those to you individually if you would like, but I feel this way is simpler. There's less opportunity for error and things to get mishandled. So pretty straightforward. You miss a test or a quiz, you come talk to me. We schedule a date and a period in which you will make it up. I'll write you a pass, and then you show up and you can make it up. Again, I do not have to be free for you to make up a test or a quiz. You just have to be free. So before or after school, a study hall, lunch transition, something like that. All right, so that's absences. Now, this is a big one here, test and quiz retakes. This is something maybe you have never had the opportunity for before. We are essentially offering you a second chance on every test or quiz you take. So let's say you take the first one, you do very poorly, and you would like to improve that grade. Well, there's a three-step process to get to improve that grade. The first is corrections. You are going to need to completely redo correctly every problem that you lost points on the quiz or the test. I have correction sheets in class that you can use to do your work on to keep things nice and organized. Please do not do the corrections on the original exam. I want you to be able to see what your mistakes were, and it just helps me and the other math teachers that will be checking them to see the differences there. The next thing you need to do once you have the corrections done is you need to meet with a math teacher who is going to check over your corrections and make sure you really understand the mistakes that you made. This is super important because if you bother to do the corrections but don't really understand your mistakes, you're probably just going to repeat them and get a very similar grade. The teacher may ask you to do more problems. They may ask you to explain your answers. But once that teacher is confident that you understand your mistakes, they will sign your corrections. Now notice, I don't say me. I know not every student has a schedule that fits very nicely with my schedule. There are math teachers in the MARC every single period of the day. There may be a math teacher that you have transition or study hall with or something like that. So I don't care what math teacher you meet with, but it has to be, the only requirement is it has to be a math teacher at Grays Lake Central High School. Now, you have the corrections signed, so you bring them to me, and we schedule a date to do a retake. Now, just so we're clear, a retake will not be literally the same exact test, but it will be an alternate version, which is very, very similar. Sometimes all we do is just change a few numbers in a problem so that the work and the answers aren't exactly the same. Once you have taken that, I will grade it, and whichever grade, your first effort or your second retake, whichever is better, we'll give you that grade. So you can see down below, this is an example. John got a 65 on the Unit 1 test. He completes the corrections. He gets an 88 on the retake. All right, so the 88 is what now goes in the grade book, and the 65 is never heard from again. This is a really good deal, guys. You don't also, let me just add this here, you don't have to do poorly to do a retake. I've had many students who got a B on a test or a quiz and wanted an A. So they did the corrections. They met with a teacher, got their corrections signed, and then did the retake and ended up getting an A and bumped their grade up to an A. All right. So please know that this is for anybody. I mean, even if you get a 99% and you want that 100%, you can retake a test or a quiz. Please just remember it's a three-part process. Corrections, meeting with a teacher to get the correction signed, and then the retake. Oh, one other thing, just want to mention, you can do your corrections and the teacher meeting simultaneously if you want. I do not care if you get help on the corrections from another teacher, from a friend, from parents, whatever it needs to be for your corrections to get done and for you to be able to do them correctly and understand your mistakes. That's what I'm looking for. The teacher meeting is what has to be done, though, with a math teacher at Grayslake Central High School. All right. Tardies, pretty straightforward. You need to be in your seat when the bell rings. That is what the student handbook that you checked box online saying that you read says. I am not going to be an absolute stickler about this, but what I need from you is that you are making every effort to be in your seat if you are not in your seat when the bell rings. One thing that frustrates me is when the bell rings and people are not in their seats and they take it very leisurely, slow pace to get to their seats so that we can get started. As long as we can be making a really good effort to get in our seats quickly so we can get started with class, I will not feel the need to use our behavioral consequences for tardies. However, if a student or a class in general is having a really hard time getting to their seats to start class, I will be forced to start giving you tardies, which will lead to detentions. All right, absences. Apparently, I put this on there twice. I did not realize I did that until right now. So we've already talked about absences. Discipline, right? So you said you checked a box saying you read the online student handbook. So if you have not actually read it, please make sure you look at that so that you do know what responsibilities you are going to be held accountable for. We kind of talked about that in class. You will get consequences based on your choices, whether you knew they were in the handbook or not, because you had to check that box to come to school. All right, so help. I'm available before school by appointment. Just make sure you talk to me. I don't have any set time that I'm always available. After school, Tuesdays after school, unless there's something drastic that changes, I will always be available Tuesday after school. So you come to the math office or my room, depending on how many students are getting help, and we can do that. If Tuesday doesn't work for you after school, then you need to talk to me and see if we can work something out. I have responsibilities after school about picking my kids up from daycare and from childcare. So I've got to be able to work that out with my wife or with my parents or things like that. So you've got to work with me on that. During the school day, I am available 1st, 5th, and 6th period. 6th period, I'll be down in the MARC. 1st and 5th period, I'll either be in my classroom 2360 or in the math office, which is 2320. So please just let me know if you want to get help during the day, because I need to write you a pass, and I'll put the room number on the pass, and you just show up there and we can do some math together. All right, so let's talk about supplies here. Your normal school stuff, folders, pencils, erasers, paper, notebooks, etc. That's gonna be really important. But I would also recommend having a 3-ring binder to hold all of those things in. Get a 3-ring binder with dividers. Most everything I give you is hole punch, so you can just slide everything right in there and keep everything nice and organized for math class. It will be very important to have a TI-84 graphing calculator. If you have a TI-83 and don't want to spend the money, that will work, but there will be some things that TI-83 will not do that the TI-84 will do. There are several different versions of the TI-84, as you can see there, the Plus, the Silver, the Color, the CE. I think there's actually a Silver Plus version. Any of those will do what we need to do. The Color Edition one is really nice and, excuse me, it does a lot of things. That will just make your life easier. But as long as it's a TI-84, you'll have what you need for the class here. I would also strongly recommend you get a little stylus for a Chromebook Touch. You can get these anywhere. Walmart, Meijer, probably even like Jewel, maybe even gas stations would have little styluses, just so you have something to hold in your hand like a pen for writing on your Chromebook Touch. All right, well, that's the syllabus. That's the class policies there. That covers most basic things. So remember what your homework is for Monday. Please make sure that you get this signed by you and your parents. You are signing that you have read and understand all those policies, so please make sure you do so. Again, if you have any questions at all about any of this stuff, you're unclear, please make sure you ask in class or come see me, and I'll be happy to explain this in further detail. Looking forward to a great year, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.